Alright guys, I figured I'd show you this. I just ran into this issue here. This is a Coleman Schmidt bearing box. It's a German bearing for Volkswagen motors. Bought a few parts for this 1915 and stumbled onto this. We got some original TRW exhaust valves for our heads, so we can assemble those. Those were old stock, so we were able to get 4 of those. However, the bearings have become an issue. This is something that I noticed. These are steel back bearings, and they hold up very well. You know, some applications, if the oil pump's not right and whatever, you know, you will get some bearing wear in these. And I don't think the bearing's something that you could cheapen. However, I just bought this set of bearings. This is a brand new set of bearings here, and these are Mall original. This is what happens when somebody buys a company and uses the boxes and puts a shitty part in it. This is the Coleman Schmidt. This is an old Mall bearing. This is the one out of the bus motor we just tore apart today. It's got some wear on it. It's fairly new. It's a little discolored, probably from sitting more than anything. But this is the same bearing. This is a center main bearing, and they've redesigned this bearing quite a bit. It used to feed through this oil hole here, and it'd fill this line up, and would have a reservoir of oil, and the crank would ride in here, and it would grab its oil out of this trough. They've taken the line out of the bearing and moved it to the back of the bearing now. And I'm assuming that the oil feeds up through this channel and into this hole, out into the bearing surface in this little duct that they have here. And it would go something like that in the case. That doesn't bother me so much, you know. I mean, it looks like you might have a little more bearing surface this way, a little more support for the crank. That's not the issue. This is the issue. We'll go over here to the scale. That's our old bearing, 82.82 grams. And this is our new bearing, 31 grams. I don't know, guys. They've taken all the steel out of the bearing, it looks like, and made it all aluminum. And I don't know if anybody's run into an issue with this. I've never had good luck with aluminum bearings. Mitsubishi uses an aluminum rod bearing, and they don't hold up very well. And I'm sort of looking for some old bearings now, I guess. So I'm gonna have to go down the scooters and hit the shelf and see if there's an old set down there. Everything fits nice, fits the case. This is our 1914. And our bearing fits and everything. I just don't like the fact that it's an aluminum bearing and not a steel back bearing. And even the weight of the aluminum's off. 78, a couple grams lighter. Even the aluminum's lighter. So I don't know. Just something I stumbled onto. I took these out and they feel like there's nothing to them. They're almost 60 grams lighter than the old ones, the old German ones. So there you go. That's what happens when somebody buys a company and uses the boxes and takes the good part out and puts the shitty part in. I don't like that kind. So now we got a problem with that. We got to figure out what we're going to do for bearings. Somebody had mentioned this to me. I hadn't run into it yet. This is the first motor I built where I've gotten a new run of bearings, I guess. And these are 025s. standard thrust, standard bore on the case. So tomorrow I'll get online and look around, see if I can find something old school for this particular motor. I don't want to take any chances. This is a good friend on the YouTube garage, and we want to make sure his stuff runs correctly for a while. And I would think that the steel back bearing would only go, 50, 70,000 miles. This bearing's going to be much shorter lived. So yeah, that's not a good deal. So I don't know if anybody else has run into this issue or not, but not good. So we've got several bearings in here, and here's the new design. And so they've taken the new design one step further and cheapened the process. It made it lighter. Took all the steel out. So instead of having layers of steel and babbitt, now it's just one big piece of aluminum in there, like a shim. So this is sort of odd. I don't know. I'm sure other guys have run into this that build more motors than me. And I don't know. We'll figure something out. To be continued.